Are you listening? Uh, yeah, uh, yeah, uh, yeah, uh.
You know, it doesn't take long for a phone to really get going if it's fantastic. Now, I reviewed plenty of phones here on my channel, and some of them wowed me, some of them awed me. A few of them even left me speechless. But this device right here, the Honor 5X, it's in a world of its own. Now, there are plenty of budget, so-called budget, which means low in cost, phones that have high-end specs, so to speak, like metal body. But the Honor 5X kind of stands out. It's priced at $199. It comes in gold, silver, and black. Sunset gold, dark gray, and daybreak silver are the actual colors. This is the sunset gold. Now, this phone, spec-wise, it competes with the so-called high-end phones, which cost 4 times the cost of this phone at least. And I have several that cost 4 times this price of this phone, but this operates just as good, if not better, and has features that some other phones don't have. So let's talk about the techie side of this device, and then I'll get into the actual review of this device and tell you how I'm really feeling about it. Does it have some ups and downs? All phones do. So let's talk about the techie side of this first. First, this is unlocked for all GSM carriers, which means you can pop a SIM card in here and get LTE in the US. AT&T, T-Mobile, should work on Cricket, Simple Mobile, Walmart, Family, or whatever it's called. Those should work. This packs a 5.5-inch display, and gorgeous, yes, to say the least. As you can see on the back there, it actually has a fingerprint reader, which is rare for a phone at this price range. Has an SD card slot that takes up to 128 gigs on paper, but I think some people have confirmed. I think my boy Tony Pazzo has confirmed that we'll take a 200 gig card. Now, whether it'll work flawlessly or not, I don't know. But he isn't having any problems with his, and I'm tempted to go ahead and just grab me a 200 gig as well. Now, the design of this thing, as I said before, it has a metal frame, a metal body. The phone itself is just, it's one of those phones that you just look at it and you say, wow. I mean, look at the build quality on this thing. It's pretty stellar for it to cost only $199. Now, it does have dual SIM trays here. Let me zoom a little bit. As you can see here, it takes a nano SIM and a micro SIM. So the micro SIM goes up top, and then down here, your nano SIM and SD card could go in here. Along the back there, you can see that gorgeous design there for the fingerprint reader. You also see a 13 megapixel camera with the LED flash there. And on the top here, I'll stay zoomed in so you can see this a little better. You get a feel of how the curvature of the phone is. The camera hump is not really bad at all. You get a headphone jack and a noise cancellation microphone up top. The power button and the volume rocker are rich, which means they have texture. It's textured. It's textured. And it lets you know which one you're pressing, which is really, really nice. On the bottom here, you have some speaker grills. One side is microphone, the other is speaker. And you've got your charge and sync cable right there. This overall, by far, you got a little bit of branding on the bottom, but that's to be expected. This phone is an octa-core processor, 64-bit, and it has the Snapdragon 615 in here. Now, there are a couple of different variants of this phone, believe it or not. There's one that's labeled the Huawei Honor 5X, and it actually has 3 gigs of RAM. But this has 2 gigs of RAM. It has a 615 processor in it, and it has 16 gigs of memory. So people might be deterred. I've heard people say, you know, the memory, man, I can't do it. It's got 16 gigs. Don't let that deter you, because, you know, with Huawei phones, you can actually have the memory card as your main or primary memory. So you're getting 16 gigs, but when you pop a 128 gig or a 64 gig in there, and the pricing on those right now is really low. Like at the recording of this video, you can get 128 gig PNY for $26. Super deal. So you spend the extra 26 bucks, and for 230 bucks, you have a 128 gig Honor 5X. You just can't beat that. So let me talk about this phone for a minute. Some people will tell you that the Huawei skin, every review that I've read, and I try to avoid reading other people's reviews, because, you know, I just like to have my own point of view. I don't want to have a tainted view at all. And one thing that people say is that the software on this phone is not good. Well, you know, and it doesn't remind me of iOS. I've heard people say, you know, it reminds you, it's like having an iPhone iOS because it doesn't have a SIM tray, app tray. I don't think that's just not something that should deter you, because as you can see here, I have Nova Launcher installed, and you can actually put on a different launcher. But this setup here is really, really nice. There's absolutely nothing wrong with not having an app tray. Just put everything in a folder, because on most iPhones that I see, and I'll use that phone as an example, people put everything in a folder because they want to show off their wallpaper anyway. Nonetheless, hey, it's just an icon pack. It's really all it is, and you can change that. You can even put on the Zen launcher too, so that's fine. It's a 5.5-inch 1080p full display. It's full HD. It's really, really nice. And I think the pixel count is like 401 or something like that. Nonetheless, you're getting a great screen. Now, I just have a picture of the phone up here. I always take a picture and, you know, put it as my background, because I just do that with phones. Something I do. But this screen is gorgeous, and I think it'll entertain you very well when watching movies and things like that. You won't have any problems with it. Viewing angles are good. As you can see here, they're really solid. There's nothing wrong with this screen. It's actually a really great panel. Where the phone really shines, it's like its bigger cousin, I call it his big cousin, is the Nexus 6P. But this fingerprint reader, easy setup, just a quick, and it's, before you can even say anything, it's actually, the screen's back on, just a light touch, and then it comes on. You see how fast that is? 6 touches is what Huawei and the Honor phones, they tell you 6 touches on here, and then you'll have your finger set up. And it's actually true. I have had no issues with the fingerprint reader. It locks just as it says within 0.5 seconds. 0.5 seconds. That's a fast unlock. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's like super fast. But the point is, it's accurate. This is one of the most accurate fingerprint readers, just like the 6P. It is super accurate. There's none like it. It's just great. The setup on some of my other phones, the fingerprint reader is just ridiculously tiring. You gotta put in all these different, it's not good. It's just not good. The highlights of this phone, some might think it is the price, but I wouldn't say it's the price. I would say it's the fact that you're getting so much. And when I say so much, you're getting an aluminum, it's a metal frame. This obviously has to be plastic for antennas and things like that, but overall, you know, this is a stellar phone. I'm going to demo the camera. I'm going to grab another device here. The camera settings on here, minimalistic. It does everything that you want your camera to do. Let's see here. So you've got photo, video, you've even got time lapse. Do you guys remember when time lapse was something that, you know, just wasn't on phones? You've got beauty shot, and you've got good food. And this is for taking photos of food, obviously. That's what that entails. So I was here's a little picture. I won't zoom in on it, but I was shaving and I was testing out the camera. So here are the modes that you get with this phone. You can even put a watermark. It's got HDR. It's got slow motion. It's got all focus, panorama, best photo. It's just really good. Now let's get into the settings here. And you can see the resolution. I keep it at the highest one, which is 13. for photos. And it's got the perfect selfie. You can mute the sound. You can do audio. It's a whole bunch of different things, touchless capture. Nonetheless, though, you can adjust the ISO and the white balance if you want to. You don't have to do that. I would suggest just leaving it as is. It also has object tracking, which I think is very nice. And where did it go? Ultra snapshot. There we go. Yeah. So you double press the volume down when the device is locked, and it'll open up and take a photo. Boom, thing's done. So the camera is simple, to say the least, but it is effective. Let me take a picture of this beautiful gold device. Very quick shutter. It's a very nice phone. I mean, what more can you say? It's a $199 phone with a great camera. Can you guys see how good that camera is? That's ridiculous. $199 and you get all of this camera. Fantastic. There's a lot of highlights on this phone, but I try to cover the ones that I think most end users would want to hear about, and just people in general. The build quality. One thing I didn't touch on that I've been hearing a lot of things about now. I've been hearing that the speaker on this is not good, and I disagree. I think the speaker on this phone may not be the best you'll ever hear, but it's definitely better than some others. So I'm going to go in here. I'll find a video here. Let's go with this one here.
I have made you guys wait long enough. There it is. BlackBerry Priv, ready to be reviewed by your man Jay Will. Always been Team BlackBerry, but as you know, I was not a fan when they switched to Android as their main OS, so to speak. And
I don't think that's bad at all, especially when you're playing music. It's really not that bad. Some people really harped on that, saying it was not good, but the speaker on this thing is placed on the bottom. At least it's not on the back, so it's loud enough. Microphone and speaker. I mean, it's great. Overall, though, you're getting a lot of phone with this package right here. $199. People have been asking me, should I get the Honor 5X or something else? And I just quickly tell them, hey, the Honor 5X is kind of a no-brainer right now. Now, granted, I don't know who'll come along and beat this phone, but there are some. It can get better. Great phones are getting very affordable, and this is one of them. So $199 for this package. Fingerprint reader, 13 megapixel camera, a nice loudspeaker on the back. 1080p display, 5.5 inches, compact size. Let's bring my Yumi back in. You can see compact size for it to be a 5.5 inch. This is a 5.5 inch too. Compact size. I mean, you get a lot. The fact that you get a fingerprint reader is sweet, to say the least. So if you want to change your launcher, Huawei phones are a little different. You have to go into Manage Applications, and you go into your defaults, and you change your default launcher. It's not like some other phones where you get the other options, but it's there and you can do it. So how's the Honor 5X? Overall, fantastic phone. If I could point out one thing that I did not like, or wish it had, I shouldn't say did not like, I wish it had the 5 gigahertz band. And that's just something that I use everywhere. I don't use the 2.4 gigahertz band at all, hardly. Unless I have to. But also, one last thing. I almost forgot. Battery life. This thing is really great on battery life. And I'm going to show you my stats right now. On this charge, I'll show you where I'm at. On this charge, I'm at 1 day and 2 hours and 22 minutes. And then the screen on time is under 4 hours. Yep. Just under 4 hours. So, and I still have 30% left. Yeah, I still have 30% left. And a lot of that was off of Wi-Fi. I try to keep it off of Wi-Fi if possible, because I like to test the LTE. But nonetheless, the battery life on this phone is stellar. You'll make it through at least a day and a half, or at least a full day, I'll say. You will not be disappointed. How did they do with the Honor 5X? This phone gets a 9.5 from me because I would have liked to have seen a 5 gigahertz band on there. That would have been fantastic. Now that's something that I like, but I prefer 5 gigahertz band because it's worlds faster. And also the speaker is nice. It's loud enough for me. If it would have been louder, that's great. But there's software that you can tweak your speaker, so that's not really an issue. So if you think the phone has a weaker speaker, just put the software. There's software in the App Store, the Play Store, and you can get software to tweak your speaker. But other than that, man, I mean, one other thing I wanted to point out is I think this probably could have been a 5.7 inch display, because all this chin down here, it's nothing on it. There's just nothing there. Now, I guess they needed that little area down there for antennas or to make things work, but would have liked to have seen a 5.7 inch. Oh well, this is still a fantastic device. 9.5 out of for me, and I think you would probably give it a 9.5 or higher as well if you were to get it in hand. 199 bucks, you just can't beat it. This is the Honor 5X. Oh man, it's got body, beauty, brains, all rolled into one. It's your man Jay Will. Take care.
Are you listening? Yeah.